Are you recognizing that a lot of people around you are very different these days? Like they no longer have a personality. They're very emotionally flat. And it's almost like they no longer have a soul. If you're realizing this, if you're noticing this with other people, this is the disappearance of the soul. And that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video, which is a follow-up to my prior video about selling your soul. So hello everyone. My name is Autumn Asphodel and I am a coach to help you live your best life and find your true purpose. In today's video, we're talking about the disappearance of the soul and what you can be aware of, what you can do if you have sold your soul, and anything else that you no longer connect with your true self. So enjoy the video. The disappearance of the soul is a phenomenon that has been occurring since people started to sell their soul, which is ever since the dawn of man. However, over time, due to power, money, and greed, the soul of humans seems to have been disappearing more and more, and people are selling their soul for fame and power. This is not anything new, but over the past few years we have seen just how many people were willing to sell their soul to be safe and comfortable with their jobs, protecting their money, and sacrificing their rights and freedoms. We talked about selling your soul in a prior video, so be sure to check that out for more information on that. There are different stages of selling your soul. You may sell only part of it at a time, to where you have no soul left to sell. Fear accelerates the soul transfer from your physical body to the external source. And many of us know what 2020 and beyond brought. Fear. Lots of fear. Many people sold their soul because it was easier than thinking for themselves, being free and admitting the system has been lying to them their entire life. Realizing these harsh truths is not for the faint of heart. It takes a toll out of anyone who has a connection to the world and knows what's going on. You risk it all, including your life, just by standing up for what you believe in. Thus, it's easier to just sell your soul than it is to fight against those who are absorbing your soul. But in my lifetime, 2020 was the start of the largest shift and the souls of people began to disappear. Technology is also another reason the soul of humanity is leaving. With artificial intelligence that people are becoming increasingly dependent on, to less self-reflection and handling of one's own issues, the individual lost their soul to technology as they think it makes their life easier, more efficient, and happier. But humans are not any happier now than our ancestors were. As a matter of fact, humans are far more depressed than their ancestors, since life is now more complex, with more competition, and nothing to help them deal with their problems besides popping a pill or interfacing with technology. This has led to the disappearance of the soul. When you walk down the street, through the store, or anywhere that has a lot of people, can you still feel their energy, their soul? It's almost as if the vast majority of people are lifeless, hollow shells walking around, doing their mundane tasks for money, power, and acceptance. They all think exactly the same, as if they've been programmed and are obeying orders by their masters. NPCs are what many call them, and it's truly saddening just how many there are these days. Can you feel that their souls are no longer there? Have you noticed that there's so many people around that they're just no longer there, it seems? It's like almost like a brick wall, a flat expression, an NPC, so to speak. They're just not there. They're controlled by other people and they don't have their own rights and freedoms. What is the point of living if you can't be your authentic self, if you can't express how you truly feel about something? Yet so many people are just walking around like zombies. They're no longer there. Emotionally, they aren't there. Psychologically, they aren't there. And spiritually, they are not there. They have lost their soul. They have sold their soul. Whether that be due to technology, or that they listen to other people, that they comply and they go against what they truly believe. Initially, they can still reclaim their soul, but over time, if they keep doing this, they will become a slave to the system, to other people, and they will no longer be able to differentiate their true beliefs and what they fully believe themselves, as opposed to what other people want them to believe, because they will both be the same at that point. With the vast amount of people selling their souls, the question must be asked, is it possible to reclaim it? The truth is, yes, but it's not an easy task. Think of it like trauma. When trauma has occurred, the psyche of the individual is fractured and they repress and deny what happened to them, either willingly or because their mind has blocked it out due to how bad it was. The same goes for selling one's soul. For you see, when you sell your soul, you still retain part of your soul, else you wouldn't be alive at all if you didn't have one. How much of it is left is a different story. You can remain functional with just a small part of your soul remaining, and others are feeding off your power. Where you put your time, energy, and money is what you focus your power. When you put it into things that take more than they give, you are left with barely anything in return. But to you, it may feel like you were rewarded as you were fed lies and false hope that you believed were real. These parasites begin feeding on your soul, giving you orders as you comply, and ultimately thinking for you and controlling your behavior. So how do you stop this? As was mentioned, think of it like trauma. If you want to be free from trauma, you have to go through multiple stages of anger, sadness, and then the upward battle can begin. You have to be willing to acknowledge that you've sacrificed your rights and freedoms for power and money. You have to be willing to acknowledge that many people around you, perhaps including some of your friends and family members, have lied to you to make you docile and unable to think for yourselves. This is a tough realization and would take time to heal from. And lastly, you have to venture upward, removing the negative influences from your life and pursuing your passion. Over time, you will notice more life come into you as you become stronger and more willing to stand your ground. You'll be able to face fear head on and no longer be afraid, even if everything else was to be taken from you. And you will start to feel and resonate with others who still have a soul intact and be able to discern them from those who were spiritually dead. All of this takes time, but it is possible if you start by thinking outside the box and questioning everything you hear, pursuing your passion, and removing those from your life that are NPCs and are only bringing you down. Let me know how this works for you. Have a great day. So I have always stood my ground no matter what. I have always stood up for what I believe in. Or rather, I should say that over time, I have gotten better at standing my ground. If someone tells me you are required to do this, you're required to do that, I always question the motive about that. And if I don't agree with a certain action that someone else is trying to force me to do, I don't do that. I don't give into that. And I'm willing to lose so much just to stand up for what I believe in. And you have to do the same. If you want to reclaim your soul, that is what you have to do as well. You cannot be scared. You cannot be afraid. If you were to lose your job because you're not complying with a certain requirement or mandate, and it goes against your personal belief, then no matter what, you have to stick to that belief. You have to be very rigid. You have to be strict with yourself. The moment you give in, you've sold your soul. But you can get it back. You can get it back by reclaiming what you truly believe, what is rightfully yours. It takes time, but if you continue to sell your soul, it's going to be harder and harder for you to be able to reclaim it. So stick with what you truly believe and you will reclaim your soul. It just takes some time. And sharing this information with other people is also going to be very helpful if they have lost their soul and they don't really know how to differentiate. But some people, unfortunately, they're just so far gone, it seems, that it's like impossible to connect with them. You may not be able to connect with every single person, but do your best. If you are awake and aware of what's happening, it's someone else close to you isn't, and you see what they're going through, and you see the pain that they're going through by listening to other people and not doing what they want, from them being a slave, then try to wake them up as best you can, but realize that you cannot change them, you cannot control them, and you should not be so upset with yourself. That is on them at that point. Be sure to check out the amazing merchandise over at Asphodel's shop for some inspiring designs. I'm sure you'll find something amazing. Also, become a member. $5 up and above will get you early access to new content, months before it is publicly available to anyone else. So I want to thank you all so very much for tuning into this video. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know if you have sold your soul and you have reclaimed it, or if you have helped anyone else in reclaiming their soul. I'm really curious to hear it. So let me know what your thoughts are on this topic. You all take care, have a great one, and I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.